Today's micro podcast is brought to you by Audible. Head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled and get your free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. They've got over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Again, that's audibletrial.com/jumbled. Let's get to the podcast. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Jumbled, your favorite podcast about nothing. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jonny.
Did you forget who you were for a second?
A brief moment, yes, a very, very brief moment. I was going to make a comment about getting punched in the face repeatedly, but I had lunch with my mother this week, and she expressed some concerns for my already existing TBI and if I'm making it worse. So, no, Mom, I did not get punched in the face today at the gym.
Your TBI.
Yeah, traumatic brain injuries.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah. I didn't know we were slapping an acronym on everything nowadays.
Zach, that is a pretty confirmed medical term. You should read WebMD more.
Well, I have heard of chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Oh, yeah. Man, so I've heard there's some breakthroughs on being able to test that in a live person, because they, until now, and I don't know if I think it's still in like trials right now, but they could only test for CTE once you were deceased.
Right.
So I'm both excited and terrified.
Yeah, it's sort of one of those things, like, I guess that's the first step, because then they have to see if there's a way to
treat it.
Yeah, treat it and alleviate some of the symptoms, or
I don't think there's a way to treat it. What I think is going to happen, I'm not going to make light of anyone who has CTE by saying that I legitimately think I have CTE, but I do legitimately think I have CTE. And that's pretty simple. Played football, fighting, soccer is a really big one for CTE. Like, it's not just football.
And right before we started recording, you also threatened to murder me and my entire family on Skype. And then you just kept going like nothing happened.
Well, you kept me waiting for 15 seconds, Zach. Don't you fucking ever do that again!
Listen, but you gotta reel it in. You know what I'm saying? Like that you can't be all CTE. You can't get all CTE on me. You know.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But for real, I do have some CTE symptoms. And where I think it's going to be really, really helpful, especially for people who have much more severe symptoms than I do, to be able to know that what they're going through there's a cause to it.
Sure.
Like a physical cause to it.
Sure.
Because I think that's one of the biggest challenges for people dealing with CTE and any mental health issues, to be honest. And it'll be interesting to see how where CTE falls within that. But to know that I am feeling this way because of a biological reason.
Gotcha.
And then to be able to figure out how to treat it. And then I think that opens up a lot of psychological treatment. I think we're a long ways away from like a pill treatment per se. Like, just say, take this pill and it will, regrow your brain and fix all the fucked up connections.
Right.
But I think you'll be able to use like cognitive behavioral therapy, stuff like that. So recognizing that, oh, I'm feeling depressed, I need to recognize that I'm feeling depressed and that this is likely because of a brain injury and that it's okay and that I will get through this. But that's really hard to do sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know how they're going to end up fixing it? Nanobots, dude.
Ooh, man, nanotechnology is really exciting to me. And I never thought of the application for stuff like that, but that 100% makes sense. I'll have a bionic brain.
Yeah, dude.
And then they'll just plug me right into the Google machine, and I'll buy everything because Google will have a direct line into my brain, so they'll know what I want, or they'll be able to tell me what I want.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to control my impulses to buy, which I already have really bad purchasing impulse control.
Sure.
But I won't have CTE, so I'll be broke.
Here, you know what? I just blew my own mind. So.
Oh, baby.
So, say you have CTE. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You upload your brain to a machine.
Mm-hmm.
Will that machine be smart enough to progress as a human would? And if so, would that also progress your CTE? And would you become more and more enraged as a robot?
So I'm not a doctor, and I've said that numerous times. So my understanding of CTE is that it's the physical damage to the brain and the pathways.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you were taking just the data, you'd be able to tag the certain data that would reflect the side effects of CTE, or the symptoms of CTE, I should say, not side effects. And then be able, the computers, we'll just say the computer for whatever, because I'm also not into technology that much, would be able to read those tags and say, oh, this is, not the right behavior or thought pattern, and this is how we change it. And then if they could upload that back into your brain, holy fuck, we're solving the world's problems right now, Zach.
Yeah. And but there's also something that's probably a little bit, that'll be like something they'll talk about in the future, is like, say somebody, I don't know, would they try to clean up your brain, or would they try to make it more?
Well, I think if you can repair the physical damage, the outcomes or the side effects of that repair would be improved cognitive function, right? So
right.
If this part of your brain is damaged in this way, it causes rage or depression. To say, well, if we repair that connection in your brain, does it get rid of that?
Right.
So yes, I guess there could be, like, the inverse to that would be, oh, here's the response that makes you really happy. If we tune that or tinker with that, does it make you not happy? And essentially, maybe that's the cause. Again, I'm not a doctor. I should probably read up on this more, but ignorance is bliss. And I like to just live my life and enjoy it as much as I can for the time that I have. And when that's over, YOLO. But that's part of it, is that the part of your brain that repress or suppresses the, like, depression is damaged, and it causes that depression, right? So your brain's not able to understand or control those feelings, and it causes more frustration, which then amplifies the other feelings that you're having around anger and depression,
right,
and whatnot, and then I think it's just kind of snowballs. So I'd imagine that if you could repair the connection in the tissue within the brain so that it could operate properly, that you would then have the positive side or the positive effects of that, and then be able to manage that appropriately.
Something to chew on. I'm no doctor either, and I'm in no condition to do any kind of hard thinking. Johnny, I'm sure you saw on Facebook, maybe you didn't because you're not on there that often, but I worked 19 hours yesterday.
Yeah, I saw. It was because you sexually assaulted someone or something?
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I was doing all day. I worked 19 hours sexually assaulting somebody.
Oh, wow. So I'm going to report you to the police now.
Okay, well, I guess the podcast is over.
Yo, bro, I'm totally going to SWAT you.
No. So yesterday... All right, well, I'm not going to get all into it because it's a long fucking story. But we're doing a lot of renovations at work. We're building out an entire new floor. We have to move. I do IT stuff, so we're having to move people around. And then some of the people that we had to move were dependent on other people moving before them. So it was a 19-hour work day. Now, granted, I am hourly. I get paid very nicely per hour, but that means that any overtime I accrue is, as long as it's under 60 hours, is time and a half. and then
Ooh, baby.
and then over 60 hours would be double time. I don't think I'm going to be getting any double time pay, but for one day,
get your ass back to work, bud.
Yeah, for one day, I did pretty much half a work week worth of work.
Yeah. So we talked about it before we started going into the actual episode, but today is going to be the first microcast because Zach is severely sleep deprived, which is also why this episode is coming out a little bit late. Also because I'm not brave enough to try and do a solo cast.
You'll get there. You'll get there one day.
I'm also very lazy, and yesterday when Zach was like, yo man, I'm still at work and it's like 9 p.m. I don't think I'm going to be able to record tonight. My first thought was, all right, I'm going to hit the sticks and play some video games for a
Dude, yeah. Totally. And that's
so just so you Jumbled guys know, we love you dearly and we love Jumbled and we love doing this. But it is a labor of love and it's a passion project.
Right.
And we have real lives and Zach especially has a very busy life with kids.
Yep.
And we're gonna do our best to put these episodes out every Wednesday morning for you. Mm-hmm. But as you all know, life happens, and sometimes it's either not possible or it's not worth making that possibility come true.
Right.
So forgive us, but we will get something out. And you know, worst case scenario is you get a recast, which isn't bad. I've actually gotten a lot of good feedback on people getting to take a second listen at at some of those episodes.
Yeah. Catch stuff you forget. Cool. And...
Yeah, you know, and a lot of people listen to the episodes while they're at work or they're driving,
sure.
and you're paying attention, but you're not sitting there, hanging on every single word.
Right.
And I do think that's the beauty of our podcast. A lot of people say they love putting it on and they catch little snippets of, something good, and then they fade out, and then they get drawn back in by the topic or something someone says.
Yeah.
And I'm completely okay with that. I don't mind being background noise. I do the same thing with every podcast I listen to.
Sure. I don't think anybody really listens to the end. If somebody is glued to their head, if they have their headphones glued in their ears and they're listening to every single word of a 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast, granted, Joe Rogan is great, and I'm not taking anything away from Joe because obviously he's going to be on the podcast soon. But no, I mean, I think at some point every podcast or anything you're listening to can become just background noise because people are also doing other things while they're, listening to us. It's not like we are giving pop quizzes at the end of our episodes and requiring.
Although we could for special Jumbled swag.
Ooh, there's an idea. So yeah, this one will be a micro cast, and when we say micro, pretty much just like around 30 minutes is what I'm planning on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We hit to 30 and then, we fill it full of ads and we get to like 40, 45 minutes. We're good to go.
Yeah, I'm just going to be throwing out ads for a lot of like local businesses and shit that like nobody in fucking anywhere else will care at all about, fucking, I don't know. I can't even think of a business right now. That's how sleep deprived I am, dude.
Yeah, you look a little bit like a zombie.
Yeah, I feel like one too.
So, that's good. So is that officially your longest shift you've ever worked?
At this job, yeah. I would say I might have worked more, like, in the span of a day.
Cumulatively? Yeah.
But definitely, and I don't think I even really... I had lunch and a dinner break, but it wasn't like a break. It was
that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're shoving shit down your face hole really quick and then getting back to work. The longest shift I've ever done, and not that this is a pissing contest, is 24 hours straight.
Holy shit.
And it was when I was in trades, and there was a significant emergency. I was waist deep in water for a lot of it too, which was real fun.
Yay.
Mm-hmm. Talk about a micropeen.
It turtled, dude.
Oh my god, it was like, get me out of here.
All right, guys, let's stop to take a second to talk about our sponsor for today's podcast, Audible. You guys know about Audible. We talk about them all the time. We love them. Head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled. The book that I'm going to be recommending for the month of January, kicking it off right here in 2019, is I Must Say, My Life as a Humble Comedy Legend by Martin Short, narrated by the man himself. It's a memoir. It's talking about his early days in Second City, also in Saturday Night Live, and his famous movies that he's been in throughout his life and his career. But he also gets into his private life, where he talks about how he lost his eldest brother and both of his parents by the time he turned 20 years old, and how he most recently lost his wife of 30 years to cancer. So it's a bit of a roller coaster, but it really lets you inside of the mind of the man who you all know and love, Martin Short. It's a great listen, so I'd really recommend that one. But if there's something else you guys want to listen to, of course, they have over 180,000 different titles that you can listen to. So feel free to listen to whatever else you like. I personally really recommend Martin Short. He's a comedy legend. He's a titan in that regard, and I think it would be it's 8 hours and 40 minutes of your time that would be well spent. So give that a shot and let us know what you think. Thanks, Audible. And let's get back to the podcast, because there's going to be a little bit more that we need to listen to.
I'm gonna go check out my friend the throat.
And that's actually how your dick grew gills. Don't lie, dude.
Yeah, and now I can breathe underwater real well. So
only downside is now you got to fight it every time you're in the pool, because it wants to swim away.
It's a faster swimmer than me. What can I say? It just
you jump in.
It just goes.
So this is a very visual thing that I'm doing right now, but you're getting pulled behind your dick. I'm thinking like your dick is almost like a dolphin, where it's like
it's like if a normal person, God, it didn't take us long, 15 minutes to get into the dick talk. It's like if a normal person just strapped a dolphin to their waist and then jumped in the water, and that dolphin's going wherever that dolphin goes, your body's following,
and your arms are just flailing. You're just along for the ride. Why did you decide it was a good idea to put swim trunks on that day? You just trying to keep your gilled dick happy or something?
Yeah, man, you gotta let the beast free. But I was the fastest man in that water, let me tell you.
Yeah, you won the freestyle that time, that's for sure.
That is one thing. There are times in my job where I'm sitting at my desk and I'm just hammering my head on something, and I really miss the days where it was like, this is broken, fix it. And that was my job for the day. Like, this motor is broken, or this pump is broken, just fix it. And I loved that puzzle. And I mean, it gets redundant at times, don't get me wrong. What I don't miss about trades is being on call and carrying that pager.
Right.
And it's really weird what it does to your sleep. Where I would wake up every 30 minutes and check my pager to make sure that I didn't miss a call. I was so worried about missing a call.
Yeah, that's awful, man. I could easily sleep through something like that. So some people are just, not made to do trade work like that.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like, I'm not a heavy sleeper by any means. Mm-hmm. And I mean, granted, I have some hearing issues, so that adds an extra challenge. But when it's quiet in the house and something goes bump in the night, I wake up real quick.
Yeah.
I also am, Zach, I'm a little bit scared that I'm becoming like one of those paranoid preppers.
Do you have a fallout shelter?
I don't have a shelter, but I have a plan, and I have a stockpile of ammunition.
Well, you've been posting a whole lot of shit on Snapchat of you just shooting guns. I feel like you're just practicing. You're just preparing for the day where you got to fight off a horde of zombies, or
I know, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Or people with measles because they're not vaccinating their children.
God damn anti-vaxxers. Man, I had to have a conversation. I had to explain this again to someone in my gym. So I'm coming off of tonsillitis, which is why I'm coughing a little bit and a little bit congested.
Mm-hmm.
Also why I wasn't mad that we didn't record yesterday, because it gave me one extra day to rest my throat.
And then you were sucking all that D all day long, so then you fucked it all up.
Man, deep throat lozenge, got to get right to the point of infection. So my buddy at the gym who doesn't believe in vaccinations, for a religious reason, he's Muslim, and okay. I'm not saying anything bad. I have a lot of friends that are Muslim. I love them dearly. But we had to talk about it, about like what constitutes as haram. And he said that vaccinations do, because it's giving you parts of that disease or that infection or whatever. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I get that. And then today he was like, oh, like, you're feeling better. That's good. Like, you were sick and a couple other guys from our team were sick. And he's like, and you guys all got flu shots. See, they don't work. And I was like, motherfucker, do you know why they don't work? Do you know why they don't work? It's because there's motherfuckers like you going around not getting the flu shot, and then you get sick, and then the disease mutates, and then the immunization that I have isn't prepared for that mutation, right. And then everyone gets sick. Like, come on, man.
Right. Yeah, because there's so many different strains, and they can only predict what the popular strain is going to be for that year. You know?
Exactly.
So I did get a flu shot. I typically don't, but I rarely ever get, like, I think I've maybe had the flu, like, diagnosed with the flu twice in my life.
That's the thing. I don't really get the flu. I do get other sicknesses, and I have nose and sinus issues, so the littlest thing sounds a lot worse in me because of my nose. Right. But that's the nice thing about working in a medical building, is that it's so easy to get a flu shot.
Oh, yeah.
So easy. Actually, last year when I got a flu shot, I was walking through the Foothills Hospital, and a nurse, granted, she was kind of cute, grabbed me and was like, follow me. And I was like, oh, where are we going? And she's like, you're getting your flu shot today. And I was like, oh, all right. I guess I'm getting a flu shot. But she basically manhandled me into like this giant nurse station, and they were just stabbing people left and right. So I was like, all right, well, I wasn't planning on getting one today, but
she was shaking the shiny ball up in the air, and then with her
like,
other hand, she got you while you weren't paying attention.
But bet your ass I ate those damn cookies, and I took a sucker. I double dipped.
See, like, we don't get candies and fucking cookies and stuff whenever, because that's just normal, right? In America, it's just normal to eat candies and cookies all the time. So
yeah, well, that's true. And plus, your healthcare is a lot more complex, so you guys would have to pay an extra $1,000 for those cookies. So
true,
because you know a cookie you get from a nurse is worth a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, because it's got to be medical grade. It's got to be pure
medical grade cookie. So Al's in Toronto right now for work.
Yeah, how you holding up?
Good. Busy. Doing lots of things. Lots of house things. We got new lights today, and
nice.
I got to take Gus is getting teeth cleaned tomorrow. So I came home after work and let the dogs out, and then I played fetch with them for about 40 minutes and altered my gym schedule a little bit and fed them, and all was good. And then I came home. I was like, oh, I'm going to go record, and I figured that we were going to do a microcast. So I was like, okay, they can chill for 30 minutes, and then I'll take them for a walk, or I'll play fetch with them or something, and
right.
They'll be okay. So our tenant just sent me a text saying there was a puppy meltdown, and my one dog, Winnie, ate her metal food bowl. So if there's barking going on in the background earlier in this episode, I apologize. I can't hear it. But yeah, she ate a bowl, so I'm gonna have to deal with that tonight. That's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, dude.
I don't think she actually ingested any of it. She just just destroyed this fucking bowl.
Well, dogs will be dogs unless you have a dog like mine, in which case your dog will be a cat. My dog is very cat-like, not because it jumps up on things, or
it's not agile like a cat.
No.
It just ignores everything.
Pretty much doesn't like to be around people for the most part. Goes and hides in the bedroom and lays down for the most part all day long.
Our dogs have two very separate personalities. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Gus, his nickname is El Gordo.
Okay.
Or Loaf. I like calling him Loaf. Because he is just a fat, lazy fuck. And he thinks he's a lap dog. He just wants to snuggle all day.
Yeah.
And then we have Winnie, also known as Pigeon.
Okay.
Or Killer. She's half his size, and she is a vicious little girl. I love her. If she was a different breed of dog, she would make an incredible service dog. And by service, I mean like in the canine unit for the military or something, because she loves to wrestle. She loves to fetch. She loves to just destroy things.
Yeah, but you shoved all that inside of a
corgi. So she thinks she's a lot bigger and tougher than she really is. But I have to say, because Gus is pretty big for a corgi, and they wrestle quite a bit. And he never took it easy on her. Mm-hmm. And she can hold her own. She's a feisty little girl. I love her. Yeah. And I love that she likes to play fetch. Gus likes to chase the ball and then just eat the ball. Winnie just loves the idea of chasing something down and just thrashing it and then bringing it back. Like, do it again, please.
My dog is the exact opposite. My dog wants nothing to do with your toys.
Really?
Yep, nothing to do with them. So you have tennis ball, you throw it. Now, in the younger days, she might have ran off after that ball.
And then just sit down when she got to it.
She'll maybe pick it up in her mouth for a second and then just drop it and walk away. And not bring it back. So then you have to walk to the ball. And then eventually she just stops chasing it altogether.
Yeah, Gus was kind of like that too. I desperately tried to get Gus into fetch because we had him for a couple of years before, or a year and a half or so longer before we got Winnie. He really struggled with the concept of bringing the thing back. He loved to go and get it,
right?
And then he would just sit down and he would just relax and chew it. Like, God damn it, dog.
It's funny.
But Winnie, for whatever reason, I never actually had to teach or train Winnie to fetch. She just naturally just goes for it. And it's so fun to watch her in the backyard.
Yeah.
She loses her goddamn mind. It's the cutest thing in the world. I should take a video and I'll send it to you and you can throw it up on the grams.
Absolutely. I will do that. One thing I wanted to get in. Sorry, I've been fighting off a yawn for 20 seconds.
I know you and I keep passing secret yawns back. I can see you flexing, trying to hold it in, and then I'm fighting off one right now because we're talking about it. God damn it.
I wanted to see if this is the same for you. So, anytime there's any kind of adverse weather in the States, I like to call, or people run to the store and they get the French toast survival kit, which is just milk, bread, eggs, and milk and eggs that expire when you lose power. Yeah, milk, bread, and eggs. Okay, but they're making French toast, so that's
interesting.
So that's what I like to call it. What I want to know, is there a Canadian equivalent to that? Is there something that when you have adverse weather, people are running out and buying in you can't find any of it?
So I'm wondering, this is really interesting because I know Kansas City has a winter, but you guys don't really have a devastating winter. I don't, as to the best of my knowledge, I'm going to say no. And I'm going to generalize and say because Canadian winters are harsher, we're generally better prepared. And when those situations happen, I'm sure there's people who get disposable or, perishable foods is what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But for the most part, people are stocking up on canned goods and dried goods and water, thinking for the long term, because it's not uncommon for parts of Canada to have an ice storm and lose power for a week in minus 40-degree Fahrenheit weather. Yeah. So it's an interesting take on it. I do remember being in Iowa and there being 3 inches of snow and people calling it a blizzard. So
what I will say is here recently we got like 8 or 9 inches.
That's a pretty good amount of snow.
Yeah, and
did the city shut down? State of emergency?
No, actually, it happened on a Friday, and then throughout the weekend they hit the roads enough with, they got the plows out and everything, so they were able to clear the roads enough.
Do you guys have multiple plows? I feel like you would just have a plow.
No, they actually have like a...
And it's Homer, Mr. Plow?
Yeah, exactly. No, they have like usually a couple at a time, one following the other. But
do you even have winter tires on your car?
I just have tires, dude. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
We've talked about that, and we've talked about that on the podcast.
We have, that's right.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big differentiating factor. But it's good to be prepared, and this kind of loops back perfectly to my paranoia of guns. I'm getting to the point now where I get a weird sense of anxiety when Allie and I travel.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like you're thinking something might happen?
My worst fear when we travel is, oh fuck, this is the end of the world, and we're however far we are away from like my setups. And I don't know, it's really weird. I'm probably, people are going to think I'm fucking batshit crazy, and maybe I am. Another full circle. Hello, TBI.
Right.
But yeah, so we're going on a little trip this weekend to a friend's cabin out in the mountains, and it's about a 4-hour drive. And I literally had a bit of an anxiety attack today of what gun should I bring, or what could I bring that would be small enough that people won't notice? Because here's the added complexity in Canada: we can have handguns, but you can't carry them, and you can't take them with you to places without getting another permit. And it's not worth me calling the RCMP to ask for a permit to bring it to like Wes's cottage, because you have to say, why am I bringing it there? And I can't say because I'm paranoid. So you have to bring guns that aren't registered.
Gotcha.
Because there's a classification of firearms that don't have to be registered, but they're typically long guns, and I don't want to be that crazy guy. So, and then I have to think of, well, what's my alternate plan? Right. If we're 4 hours away and then the zombie apocalypse happens. And it's just, I can't deal with it.
Walmart, dude. Anywhere you are, just find the nearest Walmart.
Walmarts here don't sell guns, man.
They don't?
No.
Weird. All right, well, sorry for you. That's where I'm going to be.
And that's a good second thought, but that's also where you and 50% of the population that are Democrats who don't believe in guns, and I know I'm being really general there, are going to go too, because they're like, oh fuck, I wish I had a gun now. And then you're just going to be flooded by all these people who are trying to get weapons and ammunition.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm not saying that, you need like a few thousand rounds like I have at any given time for multiple different guns.
Right.
But you should have something.
Yeah, here pretty soon I'm going to start Ubering to make a little extra money. So I can, well, number one, I need to get a new car, so got to be able to make a little bit of extra cash so that I can pay for that car loan, and then also just be able to pocket some and pay other things down, or just go on vacation or whatever. So things I need to do.
No,
but one of the things I want to do is go through some classes, and I don't know a lot about guns in general, so I would like to go through a class and get concealed carry for just like a handgun.
I am so proud of you. One, that you're open to getting a firearm. Two, that you want to learn how to use it properly and train. And that's the biggest thing. I love the Canadian system for that reason, where if you want to get a firearm in Canada, you have to take a class. And excuse me, it's not a difficult class, but it's a great starting point.
Mm-hmm.
But as you pointed out, I train with firearms regularly.
Right.
Like regular. And I used to compete, and so being a competitive shooter, and Al jokes too, because like sometimes we'll be watching a movie and I will put my holster on and I will just practice drawing my pistol and dry firing while we're watching a movie. And she thinks I'm ridiculous, but it's how you get smooth, and it's how, like, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, and it's all muscle memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's putting in that amount of effort into training so that I know that in a stress situation you always revert back to your lowest level of training, and I want my lowest level of training to be better than the next person,
Sure.
If that makes sense. I'm always trying to do more than the other person that could be like my enemy. The Russians invade, let's say, because that's probably going to happen
at some point. Yeah.
So, and not saying that I'm on the level of a Russian soldier at all, but did have grown up around guns, shoot all the time, and I practice. And it's interesting to me too when I go to the shooting range, and you see people who think they know a lot about guns, and they just go and they have really bad form, and they just shoot really fast and shoot a bunch of rounds, and there's no they're not methodical about how they're shooting or how they're training. Where I will go to the range and I'll actually do drills and like practice. What do I want to practice today? Let's do that, and address that. So I'm glad to hear that that's something you want to do. I'm so envious that you can conceal carry or get a concealed carry permit.
Yeah.
I wish we could, but that will probably never happen in Canada, unfortunately.
Well, sorry for you, dude. Anyway, I'm cutting it off here, Johnny. My eyes are starting to get droopy, dude.
Yeah, you look like you got punched in the face by Mike Tyson. You got some serious bags going on into there.
Yeah, man. So if you guys want to reach out to us, feel free to do so on social media. Just search for Jumbled Podcast. We're out there. If you want to send an email, that would be jumbledpodcast@gmail.com or johnny.jumbled@gmail.com. Want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Audible. Head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled and take advantage of that free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. I'm getting ready to pick a new audiobook out myself, so
Ooh.
yeah, just a little bit of easy listening stuff, a little bit of I don't know, some good practices for my life. So trying to get my shit in order, get organized. So yeah, looking forward to that. And maybe I'll let you guys know about that. About what I figure out or what I'm gonna listen to. But regardless, head over and take advantage of that because it's a good deal. And head over to patreon.com/jumbled and get us an address or one of the other tiers. Whichever one you want to do, that would be fine by us. That's going to do it, though. We will be back next week, hopefully with the at least with the intention of a full week of or a full episode this coming week. And, hopefully I can actually get Larry on this coming week, but it's been busy. And
yeah, Larry, quit teasing me with your appearance here.
No, it's not.
Honey dicking me.
No, it's not on Larry this time. There's just been too much going on, but
all good.
Yep. Anyway, we will see you guys next week for another episode of Jumbled, your favorite podcast
about brain surgery.
God, I need it. I feel like I need it at this point. We'll see you guys next.
All right. Get some sleep.
I plan on it. See you guys.